Oh, I think it just lit up. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
It's going
Hello.
to be a spicy night tonight. So, the things said this evening on the podcast and on this fine radio show are not
Are not the
representative of our
opinions
sponsors.
of our
Thank you.
sponsors. Yes.
Or the radio station, of
Or the
course.
radio
We
station.
will still behave ourselves because we are the Maritime Paintball Podcast.
Yes. So, hold on.
Welcome.
I can't hear myself. Why can't I hear myself?
I can
Because
hear
you're,
you.
there
because
we
you're
go.
OCD and you didn't get to do your intro because I screwed with you. So now you got to do it again. So
That's fine. I can do this. I can do this on a dime. Watch. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 440 of the Maritime Paintball Podcast, coming to you live on 97.9 FM, CHSR out of beautiful Fredericton, New Brunswick, and live on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Maritime Paintball Podcast. My name is Brad O'Dell, and with me, as always, is
your king of paintball. Happy to say that we're not on Twitch tonight.
we're on Instagram. So what's happening, Instagram people? I see you over here.
I see Ryan, and I see Explore. So this is already shaping up to be good. So one of the participants in our chat this afternoon, for his own personal mental well-being, has chosen not to. He's going to listen later. So
Absolutely,
we're going to have. And we love him very dearly. He gave us lots of good barking content tonight, so it's going to be lots of fun. But I want to hear your unpopular opinion. Pretty soon, Brad will have that number scrolling across the bottom there, and that will you can call in. You can tell us your honest opinion, and we can yell at you live on the radio, which is so much fun. Let me see. I'm going to start with mine because there's a few that I can get out of the way. Sorry, buddy. You're killing me. I have to use my mouse and keyboard to farm. Anyways, headbands don't make you better, like my headband from Cat's Customs. Your jersey from Intensity won't make you a better player, but you do get a nice discount, and he is like dead sexy. They make such nice stuff.
Don't get a discount from Intensity. They get a discount
pleasure of doing business with him.
Yeah, all right.
The discount is that he doesn't German suplex you if you get lippy with him.
He could.
I know he could.
There's some specific terms, but all right.
What was the other one I said?
I forget.
Headband doesn't make you better. Jerseys don't make you better. Something else. Oh, your marker won't make you better. Like having an paintball marker, it won't make you better. Andrew, in here I said you weren't going to be here, my Kaiser brother, and they're gonna thump him. This is gonna be fun. So
I think there's.
You don't think they're gonna thump him?
Sorry, I'm really far away from my microphone. There's going to be some respectable discussion that may get heated, but we're not going to break any CRTC rules.
Nope. No. No breaking of the CRTC rules. Boss Lady will come to Moncton and thump me. Guardian 2.0, but instead of hearing the joysticks, you can see them. If you can see them and not hear them, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, that's fine.
I thought you could hear them, but yeah, hands. I got to have handsy, and I don't want to look at those faces over here. I just want to read your comments. So please keep them coming.
Also, save 15% quenchhydration.ca and quenchhydration.com using the code Maritime Paintball Podcast. Stuff is great. It's think of it as like Gatorade, but not garbage. It's super tasty. The wild blueberry is fantastic. Or not wild, the blue raspberry. That's what it's called. Blue raspberry is fantastic. I love that.
That's like the Canadian liquid IV, isn't it?
Yes. So my understanding, after chatting with the dude out of Toronto, is, and if I'm wrong, hopefully they one day will correct me. But my understanding is, the guy who created BioSteel, which is everywhere, right? Everyone says BioSteel, right? That kind of blew up, became a big thing. He sold the company to like a hedge firm, as one does, right? When your company becomes super successful and you want to make some cash, you sell the company, right? And then the hedge firm tanked the company because they're a hedge firm and they don't know how to run a sports drink company. So he's like, I want to buy it back because like BioSteel was my baby. I want it back. And they're like, no, you can't have, we're not selling it. He said, fine, I did this once. I'll do it again. And so then he went and created Quench.
And it's working?
It's working. They're already they're focusing quite heavily on right now. All the marketing is focused towards hockey.
I get to use my tagline: "Be a mensch and buy some Quench." It's great for the hockey players out there.
It's right. I'll be bringing it to pretty much every paintball game, so there will be stuff to sample. It's very
Ron,
good.
hey, buddy.
It's really great. And folks, if you want to call in, if you have an unpopular opinion, that's what tonight's episode is all about, unpopular opinions. Please call in 1-506-453-4979. We'd love to hear from you. We want to discuss this in a immature yet respectable manner, because we're going to razz you.
Yeah, there's going to be some busting, but you're allowed to do that to us as well.
As well, please, folks, do us a favor. And don't forget to like and share this. Please share it out everywhere. That's it's super helpful. It's actually crazy how helpful when you guys share this stuff is. So if you can do that, that'd be phenomenal.
If you have been hurt by FSR, you may be entitled to compensation. Call 1-800-IT-HURT-ME, sad face. Again, that number is 1-800-IT-HURT-ME. Semicolon end bracket.
Yeah.
What was the best one I seen was somebody holding up like a GI Joe, and it was like, okay, now show me on the doll where the first strike round hurt you. I was like, So
I'm going to start off with a full disclosure here. I'm not against first strike rounds existing. I'm not for them as a player. Like, I don't use them. I don't hate them. I just don't use them. So I don't think my opinion really weighs in that heavily on the FSR conversation.
I'm far too poor to just be playing the way I play with FSRs. That's a real expensive prospect for me.
That is a legitimate way of putting that. I'm too poor to play the way I play.
But that's not an unpopular opinion.
I'm not saying it is. I'm just stating a fact that if I come around the corner, I'm not shooting one shot. I'm throwing 4 or 5 at you. So I don't care if it's mag fed, and the first strikes, it doesn't make a difference at 20 feet. I don't care who you are, but it's still fun as hell to whip them around. The sound they make when they go past your head is just, I love that sound of as it just zips past the side of your head.
Brad, you see that message there from Andrew?
Andrew says the number
doesn't work to call in. Really? Again.
User error. Try unplugging and plugging it back in.
Right. Error between chair and keyboard.
Is the number right? It looks right.
It is right. I'm checking on my phone to see if it actually isn't working or not.
Okay, good. I was just about to do that, so you can do it.
Nope. The line's dead.
Son of a...
So can you change that to 1-800-IT-HURT-ME?
Yeah, you might as well.
I'm not sure why that happens. I've seen that happen before, where the line just stops working.
Yeah, because we really do invite, but now I guess, Andrew, you're just going to have to start typing.
Yeah, that's a shame.
I mean, voice to text works. You just got to really work on that grammar.
Yeah, I don't like the voice to text thing that much. It often puts the wrong words.
Yeah. Well, that sucks that we can't do the call. All right. Well, whatever. We'll get rid of the banner then, because nobody can call in. I'm a little sad. Anyways, moving on.
10-man woods ball game sounds hot. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, ICPL.
I would love that. That would be amazing. It's an FSR conspiracy, Andrew.
Unpopular opinion here. Sorry, I'm reading out loud. Explorer is saying, unpopular opinion here, but woods ball isn't supported by as much of the, or isn't supported as much by the industry because it's hard to film. Yes, because it occurs in a forest.
Yes. Also, it's terrible for advertisers.
Yes.
You can't put their logo on a bunker. You can't hang their banner. Well, you could hang their banner from a tree or something. It's not a spectator level sport at that point. It sucks. It's. I don't think that's an unpopular opinion.
That might just be the way it is.
It's just
a bummer of a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, we said unpopular, not downers, dude.
Yeah.
I want unpopular discussion, not depressing.
You'll never have the knees from your 20s again.
That's the point of this episode. See if we can make me not like you.
Am I there yet?
Not yet.
Way to heaven, 1970.
So, and so I guess let's just get that one out of the way. Let's talk about. Oh, I lost the comments. I don't know where they went. Let's talk about
first strikes?
The first strike one that was
predominantly the
by,
chat. That was predominantly the chat was the first strike one. I really liked Creep Shows. Creep Shows cracked me right up. Once again, like,
you know what though, he kind of got the gist of like it's an unpopular opinion because it's complete madness. It's gibberish.
Yeah, and I loved it. It was
So,
wonderful.
Andrew's comment, his thing was first strike rounds are for players with inadequacy issues. If you're a good player, beat me with round ball. I want to argue that. I want to say that just because you're using a first strike player doesn't mean you're good. And just because you use round ball doesn't mean you're good.
They're just
No, if you're
different
going to have
shapes.
that argument, it's the pump guy who's the shooter.
Oh, Creepshow's here.
That's the
You
guy.
heard his name in there.
Yeah, and he appears. He's
It's like
like a little
Beetlejuice.
mask. He's like a little masked intruder.
A masked intruder just shows up. What's happening?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a great band. You should totally listen to them. Their whole gimmick is that they wear balaclavas and they're different colors and they sing about trying to get girls and
What band?
robbing people. Masked Intruder.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say the Creep Show. I'm like, that's not what they do. Play or do.
So with Andrew's comment there, I mean, it's an unpopular opinion because I don't think many people would really agree.
Hang on. I saw that. You saw that too.
Yeah. So there it is. This was my argument the whole time. Is why the opinion is valid.
Okay, so the comment is okay. Look, here's the situation. I have had guys want to play against my team, saying they're bringing first strike, like they're threatening to bring the big brother to a schoolyard fight. Okay,
all right.
Did you back down?
Play right into it.
Did you say no? I don't want to because they're bringing first strike rounds, or did it not happen? What happened? I want to know.
Did you whip your Nonglar out and just run into the first strikes? Because that's
them
really
saying,
the only solution here.
Them saying we're bringing first strike rounds. Okay, bring them. I've played open class with first strike rounds. I've played open class against first strike rounds. So I'm curious about like it's like okay.
Oh, buddy.
I've also gotten into fist fights where it was 3-on-1 and I got whooped because I didn't back down. I'm not gonna, and I mean, it sucks that the other guy brought three dudes to a fight, but you know what I mean? So like, okay, cool. But what happened? Keep it going, Andrew. I want more comments, bud. Keep it rolling.
Let's go.
We zeroed in on different comments.
Oh, what was your comment?
Apparently, Explore Paintball believes pineapple belongs on pizza.
I believe it does too. Pineapple's delicious on pizza.
I don't know if it's an unpopular opinion, pal.
No, it's not. It's not unpopular.
It goes back and forth.
Some people really don't like it, and that's their choice.
Pineapples and olives. And I prefer just a little bit of pineapple juice or mango juice just to get that sweetness to it. It's just...
What the hell was that?
Olives?
Olives I'm not a big fan of. I find olives very bitter. I'm not a big fan of those.
They won't go to Games of Field because they don't allow first strike.
What? Where?
Well, then, AJ Corbett.
Those are the MagFed guys.
Yes, and now I know those people. Those people, I actually know some individuals like that. They don't play anymore because they painted themselves into such a tight corner like that there was no more first strike games, and they were like,
yeah, there's like,
well, I guess I'm not going to play anymore. And I'm like, well, I guess you're not going to play. Andrew's coming back and says, no, they use it like it's a stupid status thing. Like I was supposed to be afraid. Like they're elite and should be treated as such. So then I think, Andrew, your beef's with dumb paintballers, not with first strike rounds.
Right.
Because I've played with some dudes that if you gave them a toonie-sized target, the first strike is going to hit it. It's scary how good they are with it.
But I've also really played
with I've also played with the dudes who buy 6 cases of first strike rounds and they're like, I shoot first strike. I'm like, cool, bro. So do I.
So you just walked into what my comment was basically exactly that same point, right? What I'm referring to is my comment on the Facebook post was that, the problem isn't necessarily that the first strike existing or being used in a game. It's who's using it, right? And
Yeah.
that's kind of your whole point. So the analogy that I was using was that, like we're not picking on the Matt Savageaus who can, knock a tail feather off of a mourning dove at 300 feet.
Yeah.
Right.
That is an
That dude's
incredibly
dangerous.
specific.
Right.
That's
He's
We're
done
not
it. I've
picking
watched
on
him
him.
shoot the tail feather off of a mourning dove with the first strike round.
I can
I
see
haven't,
Savageau doing that, and that
Absolutely.
See, we're not saying that he shouldn't, like, we don't have a problem with that. That's that's a talented player doing something very specific with a particular type of paintball. Like on field game day, would that be useful? I don't know, maybe, he's a long shooter from the back. Sure, fine, whatever. But where you run into the head scratching part is the guys that have, 7 or 8 mags on them crammed with FSRs. They're running a T15 or maybe an EMF or something like that.
Mhm.
Just dumping mags at nothing.
Yeah, they're painting bunkers.
Yeah, like you're
dollar
playing like it's round ball, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't do
Andrew's
that.
comment
It's
says,
expensive.
Well, you
I play
can.
MegFed. He says, I play MegFed. I only play MegFed, and I'm happy they don't allow at the fields because then it can tip the balance over. Maybe it's the guys who use it in Quebec that seem to be the ones that throw 3 or 4 shots in instead of 1 or 2 because they're using a more accurate marker. Honestly, it's a few people ruining for everyone. Okay, it's probably being pedantic, but you know what the word I'm trying to say is.
Yep.
But like throwing 3 or 4 shots, that's not a lot.
It's not, man.
It's not like somebody throwing 3 or 4 shots. It bugs you, then never come to speedball because it's like, dude, like it's like if I don't hit you 5 or 6 times, I didn't hit you. I shoot until the hand goes up. Like, and it's just that's tournament ball. That's speedball. That's just tourney ball, right? Like that. We do it in street ball. We're like just now we don't do it on the kids that we obviously know it's their first time, but it's like I got you and like pop, 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 pop. I'm sending so many rounds because it's like I'm gonna make damn sure I hit you.
I got into a conversation with one of
Ooh.
the players from my team on a topic kind of like this when it comes to like at what point is it just a rope ending on you and like when does it cross a threshold into overshooting, right?
I'm
with-
hold on now.
I'm
It's their
kinda
money.
with
Who
him.
cares how much they shoot? No, for
Right.
sure.
No, you're
And
right.
that's what I'm saying. And I think I
100%.
might be just being pedantic. He just pulled numbers out of the air. 3-4 versus 1-2. It could be more. But again, if somebody's running first strike rounds and they're shooting 6, 7, 8 rounds to get you, okay, and like okay, and you have and he says I literally have footage on a small walking field. Again, I think we're coming down to you're playing with jackasses.
Yeah, you're
who
playing.
just
you're
happen
playing
to be
with
shooting
two
first strike
swivels.
rounds. You put a speedball marker into the hand of one of those guys, and I guarantee you they're going to hit you with 40 rounds if they can.
Tournament speedball is the worst version of paintball.
It's the only version of paintball technically.
Yes, from a legal standpoint, it's
Yeah.
like not legal. I guess what's the word?
It's the only
technical?
thing that's
Technical.
registered as a
Sport. Wolf Scott,
fair,
the more
yeah.
different styles
No.
of ammo and rate of fire, the more exciting and challenging. Absolutely, 100%. The more the merrier. Bring them on.
I
If you
get
don't
it.
like,
Sorry. I get Creepshow's comment. It's an unpopular opinion. He's the only
It
one
is.
who understood the
the man
assignment.
is a walking meme. We cannot read anything he says as if it is like an actual legitimate statement. He's literally a walking meme. Andrew says we have speedball,
And yet he's the only one who got the assignment right. Like he just
Right?
like-
Twice now.
right.
I like it. That's
Yeah. Andrew says we have speedballers with discipline. Sure.
Huh?
He says we have speedballers with discipline. Great. That's awesome. I guarantee you also have speedballers who suck. Wolf,
Our
the
phone
phone number
went
doesn't
down,
work,
Wolf.
and I'm so mad.
yeah.
You have no
Oh.
idea, man. I'm
You
so
can call
angry
me
the phone number
and I'll
doesn't
hold
work.
my phone up to the mic.
I mean, I could do that. I could put you on speaker.
Sounds so much less professional. We're
It
supposed to be
does.
on the radio.
We haven't even sworn yet by accident.
No, and
This
let's
is my
keep it
team.
that way.
No, Andrew, that's great, but that's your team again, man. I think your problem is with the jerks you're playing with, not the first strike round. I think your anger is misplaced.
It might be.
And
That's
you
what-
know,
that's what I'm trying to get at.
do we have a shrink in the chat?
No,
Chat? How can we? Because I
We
mean,
really need
that's what. but thank you for finding that, Brad. That you made your way there. That yes, this problem is not the first strike rounds. I was scratching my head, going, why? There has to be
Paul
a
Ruddick's
reason
in the
you hate
chat.
them,
Another
Daddy
pro
Paul.
FSR.
Love. I've used FSRs. I've used round ball. They're all great. You play differently, and if somebody, anyways,
Are fun.
No. This is the time to get that out, bro.
You want my? Let's get off the first strike stuff because
Oh, no.
I'm just gonna
We're not ganging up.
gang up. I must be making
First
it.
strike
We're not,
gang.
no, we're not ganging up on you, man. We're just saying that we think maybe you've just had an unusual amount of bad experience with people using first strikes, and it's kind of like it's the same way as being like everybody who owns a Civic drives like crap.
I love you, Andrew.
They're elitists. Great, they're elitist. Get rid of them. They're less than 1% of the paintball population. Who cares?
So they
Wasting
are
way
those.
too much energy.
So that's So yeah, he's talking
It's
about
the
the same
anger
guys you're
towards the
talking about,
elitists,
Brad.
which really sucks. And you know what sucks even more is when you play in a place that has limited number of players and you got to put up with the elitists.
Yeah,
That
it
sucks, right?
We get it.
But I really think that the rage and the anger is towards those individual players, which that sucks, man. It really does. It sucks that they're elitists, and I hate that for you. But let's get off the first strike one because again, I'm just going to go in circles because I've been on both sides of it. I've played with first strikes. I've played first strike only games. I've played no first strike games. With my T15. I've played
Hey,
first
Cliff Myers
strike only
here.
games.
That thing is just...
It does play differently. It does, but anyways. I have an unpopular opinion, and I know it's unpopular because I've told people that I've had conversations with field owners that believe it's unpopular. This time it's not about the kids. That thing. I'm not going to be about like, whatnot.
Stop giving stuff to kids. Give it somebody else. Thing. Yeah, no, we've already beaten that horse.
That one's done. That's actually I've seen less of that lately. Seems like there's more, like trying to help like the older teenager. Anyways, no, I was going to say that it seems like in the last 5 years, maybe the last 8 years. I don't want to say 10. That seems like too long. But paintball's gotten soft, man. Like from an image standpoint,
yes,
it used to be because it's funny because I was going back on the Wayback Machine because I was looking for something specific on Spec Ops Paintball, and I remember being like man, like this used to be fun. This used to be really like edgy and intense. Not edgy and like I'm.
It was edgy,
but no. What I mean is like it was.
It was an acceptable amount of edgy at the time.
Yes, it was that nice balance of edgy. Paintball used to be like the X Games, like skateboard culture, and then we got really, really soft, and it's kind of getting back there, but at the same time, not there yet. But I have hope.
Which part of paintball has gotten soft, in your opinion?
Just like when I go to game, like going to. Trying to think if it's big games or like walk-ons that I've noticed it most, but I would say I think it's the big games. Like in the past when I've gone to a couple of the big games, that it just felt very like let's all have a good time, let's make sure everyone has fun. It's like no, I don't want to do that.
Everything sucks.
No, I want
all
to
don't
put
make it.
boots on faces. I want aggressive play. I want fair and aggressive play. I want not angry, but I want like adult. It doesn't feel adult. It feels like everything's being like softened up for. And I mean, I get it. It's great. Bring in the kids. Awesome. But like, damn, like going to a field.
Some games can be for the grown-ups.
I like this one. Don't know if it's an unpopular
wiping's
opinion.
been a skill since the 90s. That's it. Wolf's got it. Back in the day, we had bikini contests.
Well, I mean, I'll wear one, but
you're not gonna like it, man. Like I swear.
No, but like even okay. Maybe it's just because there's more.
Then it just turns into Rick and Morty.
I don't know how to pasteurized paintball. That's a
really
really good way to put it.
It doesn't really.
I understand
anything.
why it's being done, and I understand that like the money involved, marketing is getting way more refined and way more professional looking, but it doesn't feel like, and there's a lot of money involved. I get that. It just doesn't. Maybe it's because we've lost a lot of the little companies and you had dozens of these tiny companies all just kind of like duking it out and constantly trying to one up one another. And now we have like 6 big companies basically that run the entire industry.
I think it's probably actually more algorithmic, and not literally, but what I mean by that is the trend, like just the marketing trends. Everybody saw that the marketing was trending, popularity and whatnot was trending towards.
And I think Paul's term, a pasteurized paintball, is
it fits.
It fits really well.
As I ramble
and
on.
It's just the walk-on games. I'm okay with the walk-on games being a little, being subdued, because you might have first timers, that kind of thing.
You play to your audience, right?
Right, I get that.
Mm-hmm.
And
if the majority of the players are like 14 years old, then you cater to that
absolutely
level.
Cal's the worst paintball in AJ Corbett's opinion.
No, that's the most popular opinion that's ever been
not
had
an unpopular
in
opinion.
paintball.
That is the most.
The most. I don't think there's a more popular opinion than that.
No, 50 cal's real. No, 43 is pretty garbage. But the fact that the industry tried to go 50 cal was that was a bad move, boys.
I understand why.
So
I just wish they didn't.
Right? I wish they had, instead of just being like hit the ground running and just be like 50 cal's the way.
Chase just got it right there. This is an unfortunate side effect of becoming more mainstream.
Yeah, 100%.
No, 100%. I love that. It's the same as skateboarding went through the same thing. So for the longest time, skateboarding was like, if you were skateboarding, you were punk, metalhead, surfer. You were kind of like, you probably jobless, that kind of nonsense. And now you go into going to East Side or into East Side Board Supply, and
that's what made me giggle. I'm sorry.
But
you win the money, bud.
East Side, it was. I remember back in the day, you'd go in and it was boards, it was wheels, it was bearings, grip tape, helmets, that kind of stuff, right? Stickers, skate shoes, and that was about it. And now you go in and it's like $75 t-shirts.
Yeah,
brah. Like, what happened? You used to be cool, man.
And then you got a tie. Join the party.
So it's and I'm not looking for the super self-indulgent SLC punk level of let's bring back the punk rock, because the whole point of that was punk rock was full of posers. I would just like to see some more games hosted, and maybe I have to do this. I need to find a field that'll let me do it, or I'm just going to use my own land. And just we need a party with it. We need a proper party. We need I need to be told or not told, no, you can't do that. And the problem
so
is,
you want to bring the lawlessness back to it.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And I'm for that, for different personal
Nova's
reasons.
got it. MMA was the same way. It was cool until every dude that could afford to buy an affliction shirt was a badass.
No, that's okay. So that's the personal fitness FSR.
There you go, kids.
The tap out shirt.
Oh, I'd say you
want to fight? You see the shirt?
That just nailed it, man. I'm one of those people who I've never really got into the modern UFC, because that's why I liked the original UFC, because it was a blood sport and they were trying to they weren't quite trying to kill each other, but
they were trying to get as legally close as they could.
Again, the one that I've always pointed out, and I'm sure everybody who's watched Tank Abbott just beat the piss out of that guy. And
I was just going to say
that fight, UFC 6, and it
Frank
is one
the
of
Tank?
the most it is one of the most brutal shots I've ever seen, and when modern UFC is soft by comparison. So
well, if you ever see those skateboard videos with the Joker guy doing jumps on rails in the middle of the street, that's what paintball used to be like. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Wolf. You were much better with your words than I am this evening.
If only there was a way to communicate with him, through audio.
I really wish the phone worked. King of the Road. I loved watching the King of the Road series, because it was just a bunch of dudes piling into a van to go skateboard special spots. Now, to the average person, you'd be like, "That's just a stairwell." Like, that's not just any stairwell. Like it's
That was a stairwell that God once skateboarded
So-
down.
Yeah.
None of us skateboard anymore,
I
but
still
you can see
longboard.
the parallels in the story, right? I'm
I-
speaking to Derek now.
The universe saw fit to not put me onto a piece of plywood with wheels and my balance. Ooh, Sean.
Yeah, I saw
How's
that too.
working out? We're shrinking like crazy. We need to get
Yep.
kids that are locked into video games.
Okay, so
17-year-olds
here's
can't play
my
68 cal. At least they can on an insured field.
right. So here's my counter to that. How's it working out? We're seeing more paintball companies popping up in the last 2 years, I think, than recently. We're shrinking. Yeah, it sucks. I mean, we are shrinking as a huge sport. We're not anything like we were used to be. Getting the kids 7 to 10 before they're locked into video games. They're locked into video games by the time they're the age of 4 or 5. You've already you're screwed. There's no way you're ever going to compete with video games.
Specifically Fortnite. Let's be real.
And Minecraft.
Yeah.
And Roblox. Those three in particular.
I think it's a certain subset of kids because there's definitely lots of would enjoy doing it if they had a place to do it, but I don't know if there's going to be enough of them.
Well, that's it, right? Like, excuse me.
Yeah, 50 cal, because Simon, like my kid I would love to get him to do it, but he's not the kind of kid who wants to shoot somebody. It's a different kind of thing with him, but
But I think the kids that are getting into football, the kids that are getting into soccer, those kids, they're sport minded. They would play paintball if it was in their area. So is it like in that case, do we just need more fields to embrace the 50 cal stuff and bring it in and just run it for kids?
The low impact?
The low impact stuff. That's
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
okay.
why. Okay, Derek. That's why he said it, because he said the Joker guy. That's why. All right.
Yeah. The Nova says the target market for paintball used to be 18. Was that 16 to 25? Now it's 30 to 45. That's where the money's at,
Yeah.
right? Kids don't have money, and that's the really hard part about it. Is like if you target the kids, which I understand getting the kids young because you want them at the field because that's when they'll get hooked and they'll start playing. But at that young of an age, that's a lot of money for a parent to put out into paintball. Now they're putting money into sports like football or hockey, then they've got the money to do it. I would gladly pay for both my kids. Well, when Maya's a little older, I don't think a 2-year-old should be out on the paintball field.
Oh no, I mean Simon was 3 when he started coming out to the field with me.
Oh no, I meant like actually playing. She wouldn't fit in the mask. She'd be an absolute savage, though. I know it. I can't wait.
Later.
It's hard to get them out there, and then of course, like kids are like Wolf said, today's kids are too lazy and scared to go outside and play. A PS5 or a PC is just much easier. It is, and I think it's a convenience thing. It's way easier to just.
That one goes up the chain a little higher, though.
There you go.
It goes up the chain a little bit higher.
Parents are going to drive them to the field. Parents are the ones who are going to take the control out of their hands.
100%.
Right.
And that's just it. Like, was this 50 cal has been huge for my home field. 8% of the new rec ball players come here because they sign up for 50 cal, which is awesome.
Okay.
I love that.
I want to be very, very clear about this. We don't hate 50 cal. It's just not for us. We're not the target market. It shouldn't be marketed to us.
Absolutely. I want to see. I would love to see more low impact for kids. That'd be awesome. And then market the low impact to the kids. Put a big, big, big push on. It doesn't hurt. It's super safe. These are regulation things. Kids can have a ton of fun. It's team building. It's confidence building. It's getting them out. It's getting them outside. They're exercising. Super awesome. Super bubbly, super bright, super exciting for kids. And then give me back my lawless paintball. Why can't there be both?
Why can't there be phone lines so that Cliff could call in and tell us more stories about
so
when
mad.
paintball was lawless?
Yeah, more war stories.
Right?
And make me regret that we don't have a delay.
What's this? We got lots of comments coming through. Nova, you got to remember, kids used to be able to get into paintball for $200 to $300. Now you can't buy a decent hopper and a mask for that. That's
to be
also
fair,
true.
hockey, man. Like, do you know how much it costs to gear a kid for hockey?
Oh, dude, it's brutal.
Yeah.
Right?
Brutal.
To be fair, right? Like, let's be real. Like, if you're gonna go into the sport, like with
You're not going
like
to put a kid in hockey for less than $2,000.
right, and that's just to play the game. Like, that's not even necessarily getting into league or tournament or whatever play, right? Like,
Yeah.
for paintball is the same thing. If your kid shows a liking to paintball and you're gonna get him the gear to go play, and he's gonna go and play it maybe for 3 or 4 years, right? You're not gonna just go like, well, no, actually, no. You'll probably go. You're gonna go to Canadian Tire. You're gonna grab a Tippmann A5, and whatever they have in the cabinet there, and you're gonna go to the field. He's gonna have a great time for like 3 to 5 years, as long as he doesn't get the itch for more gear. In which case, we have a paintballer now.
Right?
Good.
In which case, newspaper route. Those
Yeah.
don't exist anymore. Mowing lawns.
Yeah.
I was going to suggest somebody to that as somebody's kid that I'm like, why don't they get a job, slinging newspapers? And I was about to say it and realized how old I sounded, and I went, oh dear God.
No, but you know what? There
I'm
may
sure
never be
this-
newspapers. There will always be grass, and it needs mowed. Kids,
Thank you for quantifying that statement.
Chase has a great comment. Kids were also allowed to go out and get hurt years ago, and these days, allowing your kid to get hurt, get a raspberry and scuffed up is viewed. That must be like a local term. I don't know what he means by a raspberry. A bruise?
Raspberry.
A raspberry is when
is a scrape.
Oh, okay. So where I'm from, a raspberry is when I like below on my daughter's belly.
Also, yes. Also
okay.
that.
So a raspberry and scuffed up is viewed in more negative light by society. I think here, okay, I would love to know the actual numbers behind this. Is just my very unpopular, maybe not popular opinion. I am a millennial. I'm an elder millennial. I'm 35.
Elder
I have 2
millennial.
kids.
Is that really a term?
It just means I was like at the very end or at the very beginning of the millennial stage. I think I'm not. Maybe I'm not an elder millennial. I'm a millennial, and nonetheless, I'm 35. I think our generation, the millennial generation, might be bringing back the "it's okay for kids to get hurt" mentality. Like,
Yeah, it's like
I mean, I don't want my
Gen
kid to
X
get a
light.
busted arm, but if he eats shit because he falls over, I'm gonna be like,
well, for example, like
I'm gonna point and laugh as long as he's not really injured. You can't
like
tell.
I growing up for me, like I played in the woods. I literally wandered off into the woods by myself for hours on end, and I got lost a couple times, and I found my way back. So I am very lucky that I didn't need search and rescue. But then it was like when I was a teenager, I noticed I was also lived with my grandparents too. So I mean that helped a lot. But I noticed a lot of people around me were like they weren't really allowed to get hurt. They weren't allowed to go and do stuff. But now, like I take my kid to the park and he's like, "Can I climb up to the top of that thing?" I'm like, "Give her, bud."
Can you?
Yeah. I'm like, "What are you gonna do if you fall?" He's like, I don't know. I'm like, "Cool. If you fall, I'm not taking you to the hospital unless I really have to. So think this one through." And he's like, "Okay." And he climbs it. I'm like, "Great."
Yep.
And then he falls. And I'm like, "You broken?" "No." "Great. Do it again."
That's my answer usually. Are you bleeding? Are you broken anywhere? No.
Right? Is anything
up
sticking
tree.
out where it shouldn't?
Yeah, you're fine.
So maybe
Again.
our generation now having the young kids, like I mean, our kids, maybe
Sound
we'll
like old
see.
people.
Maybe we'll
We
see.
are old people.
We'll bring it
Tom.
back.
Yes.
We'll bring back the rough and tumble kids, because we were there before the internet, and now we're witnessing what happens to a child born into a world with the internet, and it's like, this ain't good. We gotta stop this and change it. So
Jim
maybe,
face meme. It's like, yeah.
until puberty hits.
Oh,
Parents will spend for hockey for the potential it may go somewhere later in life.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I get it. Like I get why you go into hockey,
I
but
also
not
think
every
there's
kid.
a-
Not every kid ends up going that
No,
distance.
less than 1% of 1% of 1%.
Right. So that counter argument falls apart the moment the kid drops out of hockey.
I think it's in my area. The reason why kids go into hockey is because the parents were in hockey, because hockey players get away. Now, this is a very unpopular opinion and it's not paintball related. How much time we got? Okay. In my high school, in Ormukto High School, the hockey players were untouchable by the students the teachers and the principals because they played hockey. Literally, it would be a matter of
rule set. Just
if I walked through the hallway when I shouldn't have been, it was a detention. They would walk into my classrooms, like while I'm in class, and they would walk in and sit on the teacher's desk and start chatting with the teacher and then walk out. Nothing. Right? So I think there's a mentality around it of I'm going to put my kid in hockey because I was in hockey, and being in hockey is the only thing because I'm better because I played hockey, or they're going to be better because they play hockey. There is a very serious thing around hockey in this area. Now, again, this is my area. I don't want to get too far into it, but there was 4 hockey players in Fredericton convicted of manslaughter for going out downtown, singling out an old man, and they beat him.
I really lost track of this conversation. How'd we get here?
Depressing.
The hockey players are untouchable. That's what I'm saying. And that's why I think so many people put their kids into hockey, is because it's all that's been drilled into them. You put your kid in hockey. And it's like, well, I'm going to put my kid in paintball.
You can kill an old guy.
Right.
Okay, there it goes. Okay, I see it there. Chase, there's definitely a social status amongst some people. I saw another one. Yeah. There's a community.
American football's the same way.
Parents also have a community with other hockey parents. Yes, I've watched the community of hockey parents, and I would sooner cut off my toe than deal with that stuff.
Yes,
the paintball parents I've met are pretty cool, and what are you going to do? It's not a hockey stick I'm going to whack you with, but someone's walking around with a paintball gun, and you're going to get lippy with them. No one's that stupid. It's just in hockey, it's a different mentality. Like you see those people just losing their stuff, and in paintball, I don't think it would fly very.
No, you'd be just kicked off the field, right? And it's like, oh well, it's not. There's no suspension in paintball. The field owner just looks at you and says, "Don't come back."
Yeah, beat it.
You know what I mean? Like, I also wonder too if there's a bit of a, unless you're a paintballer already and you're having kids, it's different. Because of course I want my kids to play paintball because I played it and I think it's a great sport and I'd love for my kids to play paintball. But I can also see in certain friend groups where it's like, oh well, little Timmy's going into hockey this year. It's like, oh well, I'm gonna put Jimmy into paintball. That's not a sport. You know what I mean? Like there's a bit of a like, oh, you're not a good parent because you're putting your child into something dangerous. It's like it's a stigma. So I wonder if that's adding up to it too.
I don't think that accounts for very much.
No, I'm just kind of
maybe I'm wrong about this, but it really doesn't seem apparent to me, at least, that other parents care what you do with your kid.
What I've noticed,
it's very mom friendly, specific. I like that. Thank you, Charles.
Parents talk. It's weird.
Yeah,
there's a lot of like, oh, they do that, and it's like,
oh, fair enough. I don't know. I'm probably out of my element here in this part of the conversation.
Right. So anyways, that's one thought of mine. That's probably an unpopular opinion. If it can be changed, I would love to be changed.
I saw something that spun by from Creepface about mesh masks.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's a good one.
Mesh. What's this? Hold on. I don't know if it's unpopular, but I want mesh mouth masks to be allowed at fields I hit. Okay.
You know those airsoft masks, those airsoft lowers that are just like chicken wire or whatever?
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's a two-parter for me. The mesh portion of it is probably perfectly safe, to be honest with you. Paintball is not going to bust through that mesh from what I've seen. It's pretty sturdy stuff. I'm more worried about paint going between the mesh mask and the goggle.
See, the goggle has a foam gasket just like a conventional mask does.
Yeah, but a conventional mask covers your entire face.
Right. So what you're wearing is a set of goggles, and then this is underneath, just kind of butted up to it. So the goggles are still sealed.
Yeah, but could a ball get between the two? Like, I've seen balls do weird things, and I'm just thinking, like, what are the chances?
In the really olden days, we didn't wear face coverings, just goggles.
Right. We moved away from that for a reason.
We
I don't. I want to
did,
go lawless. I don't want to go that lawless.
No, I get it. Like, guys didn't want to go into work the next day with a shiner on. Like, it totally makes sense why masks became a thing. But the dangers presented from here to here are much less than
Yeah.
from here
Now-
to here.
Now, if somebody came out with a mask that was purpose built, that had a mesh lower and like regular goggles, and it was all one piece, great. I'd actually wear that. That sounds super breathable.
It's kind of like are you just willing to stack ASTM certified pieces of equipment on your face, or do you just want it all integrated into one?
I want one piece.
Yeah, that's what you want. But what we have are two-piece sets, and I would say that they're probably safe to operate. I understand why some fields don't allow it. I
Yes.
get it.
Playing
But
shards.
I don't think
Getting-
it's insurance. I think it's a personal opinion thing, and I understand it. Like, as a paintballer, I've been hit in the mouth. I know what it's like with a conventional, normal mask. It's just like paint gets everywhere. It's wild. But at the same time, I'm also kind of like pro. Don't tell me what to do with my own personal safety kind of thing. You know?
I could see the insurance companies using the term ASTM certified paintball mask.
Yeah.
And those mesh are not sold as paintball; they're sold as airsoft.
Correct.
So
That-
that would be
that-
interesting.
that-
My
that's
my
for the
only
record.
issue is like I
If you
understand
were
that the goggles
Proflex.
are impact resistant. Like I get it. Yeah, if you could do like a Proflex, like
Like
what you
this.
got,
If you catch this right here in the lips, in the teeth, that's smarts. That
You're right.
mesh might be a little more durable, but it's
paint's not getting between
paint
those
is
two pieces.
I think Brad nailed it. Like, it's not a matter of what's actually stronger.
Thank
It's a matter of how it is defined
Yeah,
in the insurance policy.
and that is
Um,
what is most important. Speaking of, oh damn it, I lost it. Keep going. It'll come back to me.
If you've been injured by an FSR,
yeah, no, I'm just saying like it's not the two separate pieces that I don't like. I'm sure the goggles they wear are perfectly safe, and I'm sure the
Mhm.
mask is the lower is perfectly safe. It's the
Mhm.
fact that those two pieces are not connected, and there is technically a divide, and there's a line right below my eyes that I would not feel comfortable with.
Mhm.
So if it came as all one piece, that would be cool.
I've seen
Right.
that, Wolf. It's nasty seeing someone catch a BB like right under the eyeball. Like
Mhm.
I saw.
Oh,
Hey, I'm
that
not-
was the
I'm not saying
unpopular
it wouldn't
opinion.
hurt. I'm not saying it wouldn't suck.
Yeah, no, it would
But I'm
still suck. It
saying
would still hurt. It'd be
It
so
wouldn't,
breathable
it wouldn't hurt
though.
you that bad.
You know what I mean? Like it would.
Yeah.
It's like not even there. But yeah, again, just if it could be all one piece, that would be great. Or at the very least, multiple pieces in the same way that a Proflex is multiple pieces.
Proflex was mentioned a bunch of times here as kind
Yeah.
of a remedy to that mesh lower issue. Yeah, the Proflex is the closest thing to goggles and a mesh lower that you can buy from a company that sells paintball masks.
Mhm.
Right? Yes, I know you can buy the mesh lower. Yes, I know you can buy the paintball rated goggles or whatever. Like, I know Push sells the goggles, which use the same ASTM rated lenses as the
Yeah.
paintball goggles do. It's like you can buy a goggle, like a premium goggle set, and bump a mesh up underneath it.
Wait, what is UVEX?
Hmm?
What is
The
UVEX?
Uvex
Uvex.
is a safety glasses company.
That's what Sean said. Bring back the
That,
UVEX.
back in the day, it was safety goggles, nothing
Yeah.
else.
That was a very interesting way to reference that.
Wolf, the flexes seem big and bulky to me. You know what, man? They seemed it to me too until I put one on and immediately
Yeah.
went, I'm never buying another mask.
This is
Yeah,
coming from a
I
guy who
gave
got
up
a
my
custom
EVS.
orange dye mask as well, right? Like,
I rocked that dye i4 for almost 10 years. And then I put
still
on
have
a
a
Pro
Gen 1
one day,
push.
and I was like, I'm done.
I was going to
Like-
say, now I remember what it was. It's not really an unpopular opinion, but we do have to remember that we love Commando Paintball. And we're going to see everybody that's listening here on the 30th for D-Day. It's not unpopular opinion, but we're still going to go. And if you want to get a little bit of that taste of that that lawlessness, that little bit of a party, come to D-Day. You
Yeah.
get a little bit of a taste of it. And it's, from what I've been told, it's not as rowdy as those lays of lower, but
that's right, it's just the taste.
it is a lot of fun. So we definitely
yes.
recommend you come and check that out, because the Tipman D-Day Challenge at Commando Paintball is my favorite party of the year.
The comments are
It
flying by on the
certainly
Pro Flex. The only issue with the Flex is the lens change is garbage. You're absolutely right.
Holy
It is.
Jesus, are you telling me?
I really
Because they
want
haven't
to push for
changed it
that.
since the 90s.
The die masters are nice and easy change too.
Dies were fantastic.
Yes, Charles
the
Holton,
Proflex
D-Day.
sucks. D-Day,
And-
Commando Action Center paintball. Commando Action Center.
Charles, are you asking that as a question?
Oh,
As in,
what was the? Sorry, but we've only got like 10 minutes left because I went off the fudging rails. I got myself. The where was that other one? There was one.
Womp, 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 womp.
Oh, here it is.
Okay.
The industry spends. This is from Sean Jean. The industry spends way too much time and money on tournament play when it makes up only a small percentage of the player base and revenue. I agree.
interesting. This is interesting because I don't.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Cool.
You go first. You go first.
Well, we've only got 8 minutes, so
Okay, we can do this.
we can do this. It's now. Hold on, I might actually be arguing myself out of a point.
Okay, now we can't do this.
No, I was gonna say it's tournament paintball is a huge part of the sport, but it's not the majority. The majority of paintball is walk-ons, rentals, birthday parties. That is the bread and butter of paintball. And then you've got rec ball, which I just kind of lump everything into that. That's your walk-ons, your woods ball, your pickup leagues, that kind of thing.
Okay, Dave.
Sorry, my computer's doing all sorts of weird stuff right now. So you got rec ball. I think rec ball makes up the majority of it. Just the guys who go out and play, right? They just go and play some paintball. But it's kind of one of those like 5% of the industry makes 90% of the money
Yes.
kind of situation. Now, I would love to talk more about it with Sean and find out because he's been around it and he knows the inner workings. Yeah, Charles, tournament paintball is 3 to 5% of the market, 90% of the press. I would also argue
only one of them is televisable entertainment.
Yes.
That's
also,
why I
only
disagree.
one of them really and that's just it. If you want your brand seen, you get it in a tournament and it gets seen. It gets photographed. It gets on the jerseys, on the bunkers. You can put your banners up. Sean says, look at the budget for a sponsorship and support for any of the big three. What they spend on tournament paintball outweighs what they'd spend on all other forms combined.
That's just confirmation of what you were just saying.
I would love to see what the return on investment is on those.
Right.
You know?
Listen, like, we're not happy about it, but that's kind of just the state of it.
Yeah.
NXL is
I'd
not
like to
televisable. They haven't quite found a way. It was like what they did run was kind of cool to see, but they've still got to refine that just a little bit more.
I'm not arguing for or against the actual televisableness of anything. I'm just saying that from a marketing standpoint, it's easier to sell stuff from a sideline billboard than it is, tacking up things to trees.
Eli's coming in. Scenario games could be ranked by difficulty, require squad-based pre-registration. Similar to tournament ball, of course, there's room for open games as well that aren't registered. I firmly believe that you could rank scenario games.
I'm not disappointed with that idea. The Raid tribe was doing stuff like that, though, weren't they?
Kind
like
of.
those games
Sort of,
all
but,
made. Oh no, but that was
one event organizer running one event, like not one event, but run one brand.
Series,
I think what you would need is multiple large fields who host these scenarios, and I mean, like, you would need 6 to 10 of them to get together and create an almost like a scenario paintball league, and they would have to run a database of some sort stating, and I don't mean that from a technical standpoint, I mean that like you would have to actually register and pay a registration fee for operating costs. This is my scenario team, XYZ. Yes. These are the members, A, B, C, D, E, F. This is and you'd run it like a proper tournament, and then you run the scenario, and it's blue team won. The squads that were on blue team were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they get the win, and that counts as a feather in their cap kind of thing. And you could track it. You could track all of that. It just requires somebody to sit down and build it, which wouldn't be hard, to be honest with you. I could sit down and build it in a couple of months. I just don't
It
have the
also
money.
requires a lot of collaborative effort, and that's a little bit
Yes.
harder to
That's where you'd
corral.
run into issues where you would be like, okay, well, and then you need event organizers to get involved, and they go, well, I don't. It's like I don't want to be a part, or I want to be a part of this. It's like, okay, cool. Well, then there's a fee. Everything costs money to run. So if you want to be part of the official league, here's your fee, but you get the stamp of approval from us, and you get a seat at the table, or you at least get a vote. You know, kind of like buying a share in a company, and then but it's like, okay, well, I want to register my own event. Okay, then go do your own event, but you get no support from us. Eli says there's no need for a league. Individual events can still register on a system like PB leagues. Okay, but then you would just have that. Then it's just a Facebook event.
Someone still has to input the data. Someone still has to, compile
and then,
that
and then it's like,
telemetry.
Who decides what the difficulty is? I'm going to put my event on. I have the most exciting and difficult event. You can't argue otherwise.
Yeah,
because I said so.
Cliff's saying they did that with 10v10 teams.
The SPPL, the Scenario Paintball Players League.
But again, that's, they weren't going to random fields and playing. Like, they were fixed fields with layouts, right? Like, it's not too far off of modern tournament play. It's just more players on a team.
And I'm saying Scenario could be done. I don't think it needs to be a league, as in like a league like NXL. I'm saying a union or a league and organization like Hockey
like a circuit
Canada.
or a game series.
Yeah, but you need somebody at the top who's going to coordinate all of this and make the decisions. And that's why I'm saying you get 6 to 10 of the big fields who run the big scenario events. Not, I'm going to run a walk-on with a name and call it a scenario. It's like, no. I regularly host 500 to 1,000 players, at this event, and we have 2 a year. Great. Yeah. Okay, cool. That qualifies you to have a seat at the table. And, I think that's what would be needed. That'd be really cool. That's a hell of a topic. I want to explore that.
That sounds like
make a note. Someone.
Yeah, that sounds like an interesting conversation.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
But we're pretty much out of time. We got 1 minute left. So, I really want to talk more about that, about an overarching scenario union association.
But instead, I'm going to tell everybody that they need to go to Hillsborough this weekend and go play for that third game of the Winter Series. Street Ball has popped up, so check out the Mountain Paintball Facebook page, or Building Paintball. Commando D-Day Tipman Challenge, we'll see you there. NME, we love you. We'll be seeing you soon because the mobile oppression unit is ready to rock and roll, so I'll be roaming the roads to see where I can party this summer. Who else are we missing? Kat, because we love her. Anybody else? Quench, we already did. I think that's it.
That's pretty much it, yeah.
You may continue now.
Okay. No, so I'm going to ramble because the one system here says I have 8 seconds. The other one says I have 4 minutes and 35 seconds. So we're going to ramble until the system kicks me off.
All right. If you've been hurt by an FSR, you are entitled to compensation.
I think they smell a shirt.
It hurt me.
There was a comment actually about the idea of like the overarching and whatnot about commitment. Commitment's always been an issue in the tournament scene. Yes, but you're gonna have commitment no matter what. Now, however, what I'm saying is like, if you get them to commit, like it's the same problem no matter what. So it doesn't really matter, I guess, either way. Like the commitment is not something to be an issue. We need to dig into this more, but that's it, folks. We're out of here. So thank you so much for hanging out with us, liking, commenting, and sharing and all that. Just truly appreciate it. Zach, thanks for coming on and talking with us. And for everyone who gave us an unpopular opinion, love it. Also, Sean's comment there. Love the conversation. This is what moves us forward. Absolutely. I might be a crusty old man, but I do want to see progress. So that's it, folks. We're out of here.
And on that
until next week. Cheers.